Hello, dear viewers. The international situation continues to heat up rapidly. Several regions at once, Eastern Europe, the Caucasus, the Middle East, and the Arctic, have sent signals over the past day indicating rising instability and increasingly complex prospects for negotiations. Divisions within Ukraine's leadership are becoming public. Ukraine's Parliamentary Defense Committee failed to gather enough votes to support a Kadyrov initiative put forward by President Zelensky. The issue concerns a key figure within the security bloc directly linked to operations against Russia. Experts note that this move looks like a political demarche and may point to growing tension between the presidential office and parts of the military and intelligence establishment. NATO's reaction and hard signals toward Moscow. Against the backdrop of continued strikes on Ukraine's infrastructure, NATO representatives stated that Russia will not be able to intimidate the alliance. NATO insists that support for Kyiv will continue despite rising risks. At the same time, a number of European countries are strengthening military readiness, particularly along the alliance's eastern flank. Resonant statements and diplomatic scandals, discussions in the Russian media space about a possible expansion of the zone of military operations have triggered sharp reactions beyond Ukraine. In Armenia, these remarks were perceived as a threat to sovereignty. Russia's ambassador was summoned to the foreign ministry, and officials stressed the unacceptability of such rhetoric. Similar signals came from Uzbekistan, where authorities said that attempts at pressure only undermine relations between neighbors. Washington and the Trump factor. Contradictory signals are once again coming from the United States. Donald Trump stated that Ukraine's position depends directly on Washington's support, and without it, the situation for Kyiv would be catastrophic. These remarks are being actively discussed in Europe and are fueling concerns among allies about potential shifts in U.S. policy. Talks, but not peace. Former Ukrainian diplomats and officials increasingly speak about the possibility of a ceasefire within the next year. However, they stress that this would not mean the end of the war. Territorial issues remain the most painful point. Any agreements, experts argue, would require serious work with public opinion and could become a source of internal tension. A signal from Chisinau. Moldovan President Maia Sandu suggested that the country could unite with Romania, saying she would personally support such a decision in a referendum. At the same time, she emphasized that European integration remains the current priority. The statement has already sparked wide debate and is seen as a strategic signal amid pressure from Russia, the Arctic, and Greenland. The debate over the island's status has intensified again. Greenland's authorities stated that the territory is not for sale and is under NATO protection. Meanwhile, the United States continues to stress the region's strategic importance amid growing Russian and Chinese activity in the Arctic. Belarus and the drone factor. Alexander Lukashenko acknowledged that the country faces difficulties in countering drones. Minsk says there is a need to strengthen air defense systems and maintain constant combat readiness along the borders. The Middle East, Iran, and the United States. Tehran says it is prepared for a force-based scenario if pressure from Washington increases, while not ruling out negotiations on the nuclear program. Analysts believe Iran is trying to reduce the risk of direct conflict and buy time. The bigger picture. The world is increasingly entering a phase where political statements, military demonstrations, and diplomatic conflicts are intertwined into a single chain. The margin for error is shrinking and the cost of every decision is rising. We continue to monitor developments. This was News Vector, short, clear, to the point.